I'm doing this. Um, hello, everyone, and welcome. It has been a week since I last checked in, um, but I have some huge, tangible news to share today. I'm CT Luna, author of Substack Brothers, and I'm also the host of Golden Creatives Talk, the podcast that handles all things. Oh, actually, I shouldn't be doing just this hot way. Please hold. I wonder if there's a pause on this. Um, please hold while I get us connected with an Ethernet cable. Can you see how like crazed and excited I am about all this? But that would explain why I'm freezing. Okay, let's see if I can do this again and be more successful. Hello. Okay. Hopefully y'all can hear me. I'm now gonna video is working as well. Prior proper planning prevents piss poor performance. Yes, we're live. And the reason why we're live is because it has been a minute since I've been in touch with you all. This has been a bit of a challenge just getting my paperback proofs to Switzerland. It's a long story, uh, but I really wanted to launch my book, Brown Beyond Borders, Emerging into Golden Multidimensionality, via ebook and paperback at the same time. And that has had its challenges. It looks like though things have been a-okay. Just making sure that I can have a little bit of, um, gosh, I really hope this is working. Yes, it is. Or it looks like it's working. Okay. Center. Folks, this is a book I've been working on for the past couple of years. And then I started the Substack for Brown Beyond Borders in July as a way to ramp towards, make my way through the editing process, but also it's marketing the book for the launch, which happened on November 16th. I did launch the ebook at that time. And ever since, I've also been working on getting the paperback cover and interiors ready for the paperback launch. Already leading up to the 16th of November. Those difficulties continued on through the month of November, but now we are back in business. So, folks, I'll cover my address here, but I live in Switzerland, got my author proof. I have not opened this. I have a friend who lives in Germany. Amazon ships to pretty much all of Europe except for Switzerland. Some kind of trade tariffs, something or other. And so it was very difficult for me to get my hands on an author proof, but it mattered to me because I wanted to make sure that at the very least the cover would look the way it's supposed to look. And obviously you want the interior to look right as well. Um, but here it is. Here it is. So I'm about to open that. Okay. Who has a parent who's right across the border in Germany. And she offered to have me send it to her house, the author proof, and get it sent to her. So I did, and she texted me. She just kind of like drove by and dropped it off in my mailbox. She texted me late in the afternoon yesterday, and I didn't get the text until I was headed out to my dance class because I have my dance class every Thursday, and Then I went to class. I forgot about it, and then I came home having forgotten about it. And I remembered it this morning and realized, holy moly, my book, my author proof in the mail. So I went, and it's been sitting on my desk, just waiting for this moment. So here we are. Oh my God. Oh my God. Okay, first of all, I'm really delighted. Um, I'm really delighted just to see the book. Like, it's here. It's here. This I'm expecting, the not for resale. It's something that Amazon does. So getting paperback books. So the not for resale, that means this is an author proof. So this is just for me to make sure that the design is the way I'm expecting it to be. Oh my God, that is my name right there. Um, yeah, Brown Beyond Borders, Emerging into Golden Multidimensionality, a biracial memoir by C.T. Luna. And that's the spine. And I just love the way the designer handled this, where she kind of like she wrote the author's name, my name, with her sort of handwriting to kind of mimic this style here, which I really, really love. I love that little touch that she did for the spine. What else do I love about this? I love how it's a full bleed, because I did have this sent to another friend about a week earlier, and there wasn't a complete bleed on the top of the cover. You could see like a very, very tiny, faint white line. And I gotta tell you, like, I felt my stomach like fall. Just, ugh, I don't know. I was like, I leaned into the camera as she unveiled it and pulled it out of the same kind of envelope. And I was like, "Is that a little white line that I see there?" And she's like, "Yeah, it is." So let me take a moment to give a massive shout out to I'm sorry, like I'm so discombobulated because I'm so excited, and so I'm kind of jumping all over the place. But before I forget to do this, I want to take a moment to thank um, two people for whom the cover would not look the way it looked. One is Sophia Chun. She's been the designer who has worked on this design with me, which it's funny because when I reached out to her and talked about the book, in my mind, I thought that the cover would look a lot more brown. And I'm so glad it doesn't. I'm so glad she kind of like just tapped into other colors that I really enjoy. Not to say she didn't suggest a brown colored one, but it's just not the one that, emerged as one of my favorites. So Sophia Chun is the mastermind behind the concept here. And she really worked with me to get sort of like representative images of all of the areas that I touch on in this book. There's sort of a picture of DC in the Capitol in the background here at the top. This is kind of like I don't know if it's an actual image of Hawaii, but it does look a lot like Hawaii. It's got those lush greens. There's a little bit of ocean action going on here. And then this is Switzerland, which doesn't look very different from Hawaii, actually. But this is sort of like a mountain in the background. This is a blue sky and sort of green alpine field. So I just love how she like captured all of these things without sort of taking away from just the general cover. The other person I want to thank, so that's Sophia Chun. Mark her name if you're writing a book. Talk to her. She's got some really, really cool cover ideas on her website as well. So you can kind of see she does fiction as well as nonfiction. Really, really glad to work with her. I feel very lucky actually to have her on Team Brown Beyond Borders. Also, I want to give a shout out to Liz Leba. She is the three-time best-selling author of I'm Not Yelling, Protecting My Peace, and I Came to Slay. And I think she's just put out a brand new book called Slay All Day, I think. So she's probably going to be a four-time best-selling author by the time you all get your hands on this. But she wrote the foreword to my book. And so I just want to acknowledge, there she is, foreword by Elizabeth Leba. It's in print. Beautiful, beautiful story. Gosh, I'm just loving this. I'm loving the width of the margins. I'm loving just kind of the layout in general. I love the drop cap. I've always loved drop caps. The footnotes, that one happens to be Kimberly Shaw. Oh, I'm so happy. This is so awesome. I probably shouldn't have filmed this moment because I feel like I'm just in you're watching me sort of in. That's got to be pretty boring. Okay, let's see. There was something I wanted to with you. Oh, yes. Thank you, by the way, to all of the people who've been reading the book over the past several weeks and months. You've been sending me comments via WhatsApp, via email about parts of the book that are inspiring you, parts that you have, or just parts that sort of opened your eyes and made you more aware. And thank you so much for all of your comments along the way. It just really underlined for me oh yeah, that's my picture. It really just underlined of this work. And I know I am certainly not the only biracial person who has written a book on the biracial experience. But I feel like there's an extra layer to the story that needs to be told is those who are biracial, who have multi cultural experiences. And when I say multicultural, I also mean like multinational experiences. So some of my story is about living in growing and actually being an immigrant basically wherever you're from or wherever you live. So I actually grew up in Washington, D.C., but I was born in Trinidad. And my parents were Trinidadian and Swiss, and I grew up in Washington, D.C. So, I grew up in a city where I felt like, well, not felt like, I was an immigrant. And I moved to Switzerland some 13 years ago. And even though I hold Swiss nationality, um, just reveals intersectionality, national identity, cultural identity, and how like blurs the line. The lines are blurred all over. People do ask me, where are you from? Where are you really from? Explain why you look the way you do. And sometimes it's like, well, I'm actually from here. And, I look the way I do because of all of these things, but it doesn't mean I don't belong. And so that's a little bit what the story is all about. Oh my God, I can't believe I'm kind of holding this for the first time. One of the things, what I really like is that it's more than just a collection of anecdotes of how I feel othered. And in fact, one of the things that I also really appreciate about it is that some of the people who have read the advanced copy are also of mixed heritage and have also trotted and are and the faceted of who they are, multidimensionality are in different kinds. that are different from maybe the and several of them live in Europe, and they're able to kind of some of the stories here in terms of these are the experiences that I had in my youth and maybe in my early career. And these are the experiences I'm having now as an adult in a different continent or in a different country altogether. So there have been some questions, and I did record this on my computer. So there have been some questions along the way, which I kind of pulled them together. Um, Oh God, this is so awesome. Oh, one thing I want to mention, because this has been taking so long, and I expect for the paperback book to be ready pretty much any day now. You will hear from me. I will send out a blast saying you can now get your paperback copy. It will not come with one of these guys here. Um, and for those of you who have been following me along all this way, I am going to make the what do we call it? I'm going to make autograph copies for you. So I've had 3 people get back to me so far saying that they want an autograph copy. So I've got them on my list. I'm going to be reaching out to them to say, where do you want me to send it? Who do you want me to autograph it to? And just charge them the normal book price, which is the retail price, which is $16. And I'm going to have to figure out how to get the shipping to them, but that I can manage. That doesn't require design skills. So I'm going to be shipping it to you from Switzerland to wherever, and I'll autograph it for you. Don't know where, but probably on the inside, next to the inside title page. So, and I'm happy to autograph it to, your loved ones too. Order it for, or order several copies. So let me know. Um, over the next, I would say 3 or 4 days or so, I'll be kind of putting out an announcement that you can ask for a certain number of autographed copies. I'm going to order a bunch of books to be shipped to my house, and then I'm going to spend a day autographing them. And I feel like I should even record on video, even if it's just like one-on-one videos with some of the people that I have on WhatsApp. But this is a momentous occasion. Please pardon me that I'm so all over the place. This is how I'm expressing my excitement. Um, okay, let's talk a little bit about the book. And no, I'm trying to find some of those questions. By the way, if you get this book, whether it's an ebook, which you can already order now, or as a paperback, please, please, please consider dropping a review on Goodreads at the very least. And if not on Goodreads, also on Amazon, if that's where you're ordering it from, it is available at all of the retailers. So you can get it there. I'm so excited. I can't even believe I'm looking at my image holding my book. This is exciting. I need to get some champagne or something. But as far as the review opportunities go, or writing the review, this isn't just about reviewing a book. This is about showing your allyship. Please, please, please consider if you're reading any books about DEI right now, and if you felt any sort of resonance with it, please leave a review. It helps the author, especially in diversity and inclusion, at least in the United States, but I know it's happening elsewhere. Usually the United States has sort of such a magnetic or a gravitational pull because it's such a large market that oftentimes what happens in the US is kind of reflected in across businesses, global businesses that operate elsewhere or that are headquartered elsewhere. So by leaving a review, you're not just leaving a review for this book, for the author, and to help sort of support sales for those authors and of those books, but you're also basically adding a badge to the movement, and showing your support in that way. So that's important. Let's see. Okay, some of the questions. And let me see if I can see any of your questions coming in. I'm going to try to um, move um, move into the Substack to see if there might be any hellos or comments there before I pull that up. I am so sorry that you have to kind of watch me tool around on my computer, do that eyes flitting all over the place thing. Okay, let me see if I can see this and if I can silence the, okay. There might be two people viewing right now. I just want to make sure that I can see any comments. If you have a comment, feel free to say hi. So great to see you. Great. So the other all right, let's see if we can find this. Here we go. Oh yeah, one person did ask me, what was the hardest chapter for me to write? I don't know what number it is, but I can tell you which one it is. Let me see if I can find it. My journey to terror acceptance, starting on page 97. That was the hardest chapter for me to write. I don't know why. No, I do know why. I think it's chapter 6. I think the reason why it was very hard for me to write that chapter was because there's a lot, in fact, I think that's how I open it. There's a lot of history entangled in my tresses. um, have been so many moments across my childhood, across my adolescence, where I have never felt confident about the way my hair looks. And now that I'm talking about my hair, I'm looking at my hair, and it's funny because my hair has changed texture and appearance so many times over my lifetime. When I was a kid, first of all, my mother, who's white and was very unused to hair like mine, she used to always, and I'm saying this, but this is not, no shade on her, but she used to always kind of say, like, your hair is so difficult to comb through, and she would talk about how unruly my hair was. So I felt bad for having a head of hair that, like, she couldn't manage, and that she had a lot of difficulty and frustration with. um, and also in those days, I am Generation X. I will probably ever say my age, but I am Generation. In those days, it was the very limited selection in terms of the products that you could have to treat your hair. Um, Either the products they had a lot of chemicals in them. Most of the products in the stores were for white hair. I guess they would be considered type 1, type 2 hair, not so much for a type 3 and a type 4 curl, definitely not for type 4 hair. And yeah, it was difficult. We used to go through a lot of mane and tail. And the way that we sort of solved the difficulty of my hair problem was a lot of detangling spray and by braiding them. So I went to school with 2 pigtails, gosh, from about kindergarten through 5th grade. Uh, and in 6th grade, I was about 12. That's when I started to change my hairstyle a little bit, but it still was some kind of like controlled protected style, so I might have moved my pigtails, below my ears rather than near the top of my head. And I would tie them in the back, those kinds of things. And then I think I was 14 when I first relaxed my hair, or I don't think I relaxed my hair with 14. I think I went to a hairdresser and he said my hair was virgin hair, which I didn't really know what that meant. I actually thought it meant that, like, because I was a virgin, that was my hair. Anyway, so and he just blew it out, but and I didn't know the term blowing it out either. So he blew it out, and then I think a couple years after that, I got my hair relaxed for the first time, and I was like, I loved it. My hair was and it worked, and then I didn't know, and nobody warned me that like any little drop of humidity would start to curl it. I see that happen after my first shower, maybe the next day or something. So, um, yeah, so that was that. And I had my hair relaxed for many years after that. I stopped relaxing my hair in 2010, so some 15 years ago. And then I chopped off all of the chemicalized damaged bits. And so my natural hair was starting to grow out. I had quite a bit of root growth as well. We cut it all out, and that was actually amazing. I did not really prepare myself for the big chop. It kind of happened by accident. I could have written a book just on my hair alone, and I think that was what made chapter 6 such a difficult chapter for me to write, because I didn't really want to get into, like I said, I could have written a book on just my hair journey. And I didn't want this book to be about my hair journey because it's not. So yeah, that was the hardest chapter for me to write. Um, and then this isn't a question that was asked, but what was the easiest chapter for me to write? The easiest chapter for me to write is near the end, and it's probably the shortest chapter, but that's not the reason why it was so easy. Um, and it has to do with a recent experience that I had with full women that I met a few years ago after having actually, I met them all through a group coaching that I did with Christy Rutherford. And I'm dropping her name here because she had an interview with me a couple weeks back. I think it might have been on the 1st of December or the 30th of November, something like that. Christy Rutherford is an extraordinary woman, and she has a way of bringing extraordinary women together. And I met a number of women that she's coached in these group sessions, but clicked with four of them, three of whom I went on a cruise with last March. And we had the wildest time. And that chapter is toward the end of the book. I can find it in a hot second. It really is towards the end of the book. And here we go, page 230. And that starts with, my transformation became vividly clear earlier this year on a week-long Caribbean cruise with three women I had previously known through weekly video calls. Yeah, I met all of those women on Christy Rutherford's training program or coaching program, and I don't want to reveal the punchline, but that was the moment where I knew this is actually what pulls the entire book together and what concludes it. So it actually kind of it was the close that I needed for this book, as I already read most. I read many earlier parts of the book to those three women while we were on a cruise. So they were also very encouraging, and they had some questions as well. Okay, where did the term golden multidimensionality come from? That is a great question. Thank you. I do actually talk about the various terms that I use in the book, including the use of the word brown, the use of the word golden, and what that means. I in the use of the word golden because it's elaborated in the book. In fact, key part of the journey. But I will say this: brown is definitely brown is the word that I use to position my understanding and to anchor my understanding of who I am and how I appear as a multiracial, multicultural individual. Brown is the combination of the so-called Black and white races. And of course, I do take issue with the terms Black and white from a racial uh, distinction because it is so mired in more of a political, social um, hierarchy and power dynamics. Yeah, I guess for me, brown just seems more authentically fitting to who we are all. It's up to various individuals to decide whether they identify with the brown moniker. But for me, I find a lot of peace and also authentic self assuredness in using the term brown. Golden is sort of the radiance that shines through when you have that still confidence in understanding who you are and how you show up, regardless of how other individuals might regard you. And the multidimensionality part is it's kind of a never-ending journey, and it has lots of facets. Multidimensionality is a word that was inspired by Lee Harris. I actually usually watch his monthly energy updates every month on the first of the month or the second of the month. This month I missed it because of all of this. But I am going to catch up with him or with his energy update. And I was reading a book that he put out not too long ago. Actually, it might have been a year ago, called The Future Human, that he recorded with Regina Meredith. And that book also talks about the multidimensionality of as spiritual beings having physical experiences, and that is the multidimensionality that we're really actually working with. It's um, move our way through physical experiences to expand our spiritual essences. I didn't like on that, but that is where the term golden multidimensionality comes from. And it's not touched on with such depth as Lee Harris really brings to everything that he engages in. But it does kind of sort of brush the surface into that space. Oh, how did I feel when I first saw the final cover? Well, so I actually, now we can go back to Sophia Chun. She is such a gem. She gave me 4 options. Actually, no, I think she gave me 6 options. I narrowed it down to 4 options pretty darn quickly. And some of you all have also been a part of that process. I couldn't decide between the options. I felt like 3 of them looked very different from each other. So option 1 and 3 looked kind of alike, and I felt like option 1 was kind of like these letters, but there wasn't the ribbon and there weren't all of the backgrounds. So one looked like that, and three looked a little bit more like this, or a lot bit more like this. Um, then there was another one that was just like all orange. Um, and I really liked that one, and it kind of like drew you in. Um, and then there was another one that was brown that I enjoyed as well. Maybe I can bring them up at some point later or another time. But I loved all of those covers, and I couldn't decide, so I put out a question to my subscribers, you all, and nearly 20 of you came back and gave some really useful, some of you all, like, wrote some pretty in-depth tips. So I kind of, like, parsed it out. I parsed that some and you all kind of, like them all evenly for different reasons. But I would say by a hair, you liked this one the most, and the first one, the one that had kind of the similar lettering, also like they were kind of a tie. Maybe the first one was a bit, I don't know, I can't remember. And I felt like because they were so similar to each other, it almost kind of like pointed in the direction of this one. Some of you all really like the orange one. Um, Yeah, but it didn't really it didn't really, I think to some other people, it didn't really speak to the biracial memoir piece. And the brown one spoke mainly to the biracial memoir and not really to the golden dimensionality piece. And so I think this one I just feel like, and one person did write in their comments um, that they felt like the ribbon looked like a journey. And it was like, yeah, actually, when you say it like that, it does look like a journey. And that speaks to memoir. Um, and then, of course, the different images that are behind these letters that came later on in the process, but by that point, I had already kind of decided between this one and the dark brown one. So, how did I feel when I first saw the final cover? I felt, yeah, this is the cover. It could only be this cover, and it's perfect. And now looking at it and feeling it, um, yeah, this is my book. This is my book. I'm so excited. Okay, so I feel like I've been waffling. Oh gosh, it's been 40 minutes. First of all, let me thank all of you for being part of this journey, for celebrating this milestone with me, for tuning in, because some of you all are here. Um, and Yes, if you want an autographed copy, let me know. You can drop me a comment via Substack or send me an email at yeah, CT at ctluna.com. And I'll just write you back, get your name, address, write down whatever you want me to write down, or I can come up with something to write when I autograph the book for you. Or if you want to buy a couple of copies for friends and family, I'm happy to autograph it for them too. And yeah, yeah. And so I'll send those to you, and I'll also send you a link, a purchase link again that's being marketed at $16.99 plus the shipping costs. So I don't know what the weight will be, but I am literally personally shipping it from Switzerland. I will not send it with any sort of um, crazy shipping costs, but no more than $10, 10 US dollars for the shipping. And I'll eat some of the extra cost if, that's what it takes. But um, yeah, thank you. Thank you. You don't know how thrilled of like complete a thought and finish a sentence. So my apologies. Thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you so much for tuning in, and being part of this journey, and I'm realizing this isn't the end. This is just the beginning. So I am I'll tell you a bit more about my journey at some point, but I'm definitely seeing 2026 being a time when I share the book more prominently. I will be reaching out to a publicist to just kind of, get me out there, even locally here in Switzerland. I do think that this is a story that is worth telling here as well. Um, there are many more of us brown folk here in Switzerland today than there were when I used to come and visit as a child growing up. So I love seeing you around. I love seeing you pretty much everywhere I go. And I want you to know that we're here and we're journeying together, and we are all headed towards our golden multidimensionality. This is exciting. We're in very strange times, but I feel optimistic as long as we focus on our internal radiance. That's what's going to see us through these crazy times. So, with that, I'm going to love you and leave you. I probably will spring up on you at some point over the holiday season before things kick off in 2026. But for now, stay tuned. Find out if you want to get an autograph copy. They are coming soon. And I don't know if we'll be able to get them to you in time for Xmas, but I'm also happy to figure out some way of letting your loved ones know that their copy is on their way to them. So, with that, I will love you and leave you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you all. Ciao for now.